All right, everyone. Well, tonight I decided to go ahead and do a little live show since I got off kind of early tonight and was kind of bored. All this stuff with the coronavirus going around. Well, work's kind of slow, so they let me go home early, and kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing, I guess. I work a lot of hours regularly. I mean, 50, 60 hours a week, so kind of nice to take advantage of it sometimes. I guess when you can. And I called up my good friend Logan, and
How you doing?
asked him if he would do a quick show with me tonight. And man, he was more than happy to do it. So I'm glad to have him on. And Logan Craft, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there, buddy.
Well, as most people know, I make the Logan versus Everyone series on YouTube, and I do it for Cryptid Connection. So if you get a chance, go ahead and check out Cryptid Connection and check out the website. It's a really cool idea for a project that we've been working on. Other than that, I'm just one of those people that runs around and meets people and tries to go find Bigfoot every once in a while.
Cool deal. And what actually got you started into the whole Bigfoot thing?
In Bigfoot, I would say it would be the Josh Gates show, Destination Truth.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah. And I was watching that when I was a kid, and then my mom took me to the Texas Bigfoot conference in Jefferson.
Okay.
And ever since then, I've been kind of interested. I haven't been interested in just Bigfoot, but cryptids as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But Bigfoot's obviously the easiest one to get into around here, So that's just kind of how it started, was the conference in Jefferson, and then it built up. And I met up with Paul Ragsdale, and he told me, "Take guys," and we went out. And ever since then, I've been doing it, been part of the community.
Okay. Yeah. I remember I met you last year about this time. Well, close to this time, right? Because it's been almost a year since we were in Huntsville.
It was at Southeast.
Yeah, and of course,
which is canceled this year.
Yeah, it got canceled this year, man. It kind of sucks, man. I was kind of looking forward to.
That's when coronavirus actually picked the fight with me, is when it canceled Southeast. that got me.
Yeah. I didn't care too much about it to start, messing with the stuff I care about. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So like, how long have you actually been out, researching and the Bigfoot thing and
actually researching? I think I'm going on 3 years, maybe 4. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it's closer to 3 though.
Okay. And like, so what are some of your places, favorite places to go to anyway?
Oklahoma for sure. There's some cool spots in Arkansas. I don't want to give the Arkansas spots away. They're not really mine. We went out there with another group of people, and they showed them off to us. They were pretty nice. But Wichita in Oklahoma for sure is probably going to be one of my favorite, because there's some spots out there where pretty much nobody goes, or if you go out there, you're going to have a 4x4. You're going to have something that can get you up there. And it's like you'll get up on top of a mountain to the point where you're actually in a cloud, and it's just, nobody's up there. They're really good spots to go.
Yeah. And do you want to mention some of the guys you go out with? I know you mentioned the Ragsdales, but
oh yeah, I've been out with Ragsdales, Javier Torres, Gabriel Guerrero, Stephen James, Jennifer James, Michael Waldy, all of them, Barry Brown and Jeremy Gibson and I, we go out all the time. Barry and Jeremy are the ones that I usually go to around where I live, because we all live within 30 minutes of each other. So we'll group up and we'll go out to like the Sulphur River and all that stuff, and we'll stay out there for the night.
Okay, yeah. I think I've been out with almost all the guys you talked about. I know Mike. I haven't gone out with Mike, but I love to go out there with Mike. I haven't been out there with the Ragsdales. No. I mean, I run into them and seen them here and there, but haven't been out with them.
Oh, yeah, they're good people. Good people.
Yeah, yeah. I know they've gone out, and we've always like kind of missed each other.
Yeah.
I think we've done that too a few times.
Yeah.
But I love to be able to go out with them guys, and you too, for that matter.
That's one of the hardest part about doing this is getting everybody's schedules in line to be able to go out.
Yeah. But I do all my research primarily down here in the Sam Houston. I really want to get up into the Davy Crockett and get a little bit more research time up there. So maybe I'll start doing that too. It's up another Lupe. I don't know if you can see the comments or not, but it's only another extra hour drive up here, but north of me. But I want to get up to the Davy Crockett for sure.
And that's like this weekend they're doing that Bigfoot Roadshow over in Tenaha. So I'm gonna be out there as long as my job permits, depending on what goes on in the next couple of days.
So were you still gonna do your little hammock camping for that week of that conference that was canceled here, the Southeast one?
I was planning on it.
Yeah.
The original plan was to leave Monday, go out there, and I would at first I was going to be by myself doing the hammock, camping thing somewhere in Sam.
Yeah.
I actually had a spot picked out, and then I found out they were actually going to do a get together there.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, well, now I got to go find a new spot. So it depends if I can find somewhere that nobody's going to be, if I'm going to do it. Now, I'm more than happy if somebody wants to come out with me, but the original plan was just I'm going to get a hammock, walk out there, and stay for a couple of days until the rest of the CC crew show up, and then I was going to join up with them.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I actually got that Thursday and Friday, well, the whole weekend off, of course, too, but, Thursday and Friday, I got that Thursday and Friday off, so I don't know if I'll be able to go up there now because I wanted to go up place in Canyon Lake to go see this guy that had an encounter up there, and that place had 26,000 acres. It's private property. Yeah, so I might use that time to go up there instead. So like Lupa says, tell Logan McDonald's has some spots. But yeah,
man.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's a good
dude. He is.
Yeah. Lupe, how much do you weigh now, buddy? I see all your posting on there, and you're always posting on food, buddy. I know you gotta be having those elastic waistbands by now. But
I might have to introduce Lupe to the McDonald's lady he's talking about.
Okay.
He does not know the struggle I went through to get the chicken nuggets that day.
So, like, what kind of experience have you had while you were out there Bigfooting? Anything? Have you ever had a sighting yourself? I never asked you that. Have you ever had a sighting?
Not one that I can confirm. There was one time Paul, Jason, and Javier were out. I'm pretty sure it was Javier. We were out, and we were at Sam Houston around the Big Creek area. And we found 4 tracks that were they were juvenile size in a little flood bank kind of area. And while we were checking that out, we had something, I want to say maybe 75, 100 yards away, if I had to guess, fall out of a tree. Loud, like the whole tree shook. It was loud enough that when it hit the ground, it made all of us look, and we saw something black taking off. Now, I'm not gonna go out and 100% say it was Bigfoot, but that's just me. If I'm gonna say it's Bigfoot, I want to, without a doubt, be able to, tell somebody I saw it. This is what it looked like. Me seeing something black running away could be anything,
Yeah.
But as far as one of the first things that I ever experienced Bigfoot was in Oklahoma, around it was around Honobia, and I was with John Sullivan and Javier Torres, and I was using Paul's thermal, and there's a pond out there, and I'm looking across this pond, and there's a wolf kind of thing out on the other side, and that thermal is good enough that I can see that thing. I can see the wolf's tongue hanging out on the other side of this pond.
Oh wow!
And it's just doing its thing. And I remember because John was over there, and he's a photographer, and so he's getting these like star pictures. He's just aiming straight up into the sky, and he's getting pictures of stars and stuff. And there's something in the distance. It's to the front left of me that sounds like the only thing I've heard that sounds what close is a recording that Russell Miller got in Caddo. And it sounds like a chimpanzee screaming. And it screamed 3 times. And that wolf spun in a circle and ran in the opposite direction. That was the first time I ever had anything that I could not explain, because why is there going to be a chimpanzee yelling in the middle of Oklahoma, but that and around Sulphur River, we get some really weird knocks. We get tree pushovers all the time. And I kind of think it's, if one tree falls over, it might be a tree just falling over. But when you have consecutive trees going over, that's when something's up. But I've never actually seen anything that I would 100% confirm.
Yeah, Lupus just said he has it. That's where he heard his first wood knocks, was in Beaver Bend, Oklahoma.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's where I saw my first orb too, was in Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah, because you also do like other paranormal stuff. You actually researching, or you just kind of just have a lot of experiences with that?
I have a lot of experiences. I was getting paranormal experiences before I knew what they were, before I was in Bigfoot anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having that happen since I was about, I'd say 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the house I live in right now, I still have stuff. This is the house I grew up in. I just moved back in it by myself.
Okay.
And since I was 12, I've had all kinds of experiences here, and I keep having them. I go out in the field and I'll have some experiences, and if you want, I can go into detail on some of them later or now if you want, but I'll let you decide.
Yeah, so what have you experienced there at your house?
The first thing I ever had happen at my house was I came home. It was when my mom was letting me come home from school and stay by myself, and I was playing GameCube because that's what all the cool kids did. And
you were cool?
I said, I think I was, but there was I didn't know what it was at first because I didn't know, but from one hallway was this big dog. We didn't have a big dog. And this dog came around the corner, and it was solid, but it was see-through. I could see the wall through it. But it came around the corner, and it went down the hall and went to my bedroom and disappeared. Now I know what it was. It was a Great Pyrenees. It was the body shape of a Great Pyrenees. That was the first time I ever had anything paranormal happen to me.
Okay.
After that, you get footsteps, you get stuff like that all the time in this house. I got a pool table. Pool table's completely level. The only ball that moves is the cue ball. I've tested it. I've put different balls on there. I've turned the AC on. Nothing will move but the cue ball, and it goes in different spots every time. I've had vacuum cleaners. I'd had them plugged in, and I left them overnight, and I come back, and the outlet, it's pulled halfway out and bent. The little plug that goes in the outlet.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing that's happened to me in this house actually happened, I would say, last November sometime. I'm trying to remember. Sometime around November. I was sitting outside, and there's the backyard fence is here, and I'm sitting here. And right on the other side of that backyard fence, I heard a goat. And I don't live where anybody has goats,
Yeah.
And I was sitting there for a second, and I was like, I don't have a goat. Nobody around here has a goat. I went back there and looked. I couldn't find anything. That's the weirdest thing that's happened so far is a goat noise, you know? When I moved back into this house, whoever was in it before me had prayer cloths and crosses and Jesus loves you wrote on everything in this house.
Wow.
It was kind of creepy when I moved back in because I had to go through and I was wiping Jesus off the walls and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, they pissed something off, and I don't know. And I've had Javier's told me I need to cleanse the house and everything, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to see what happens, but at the same time, I can see where he's coming from because he's had his own stuff, you know.
Yes, I was gonna ask you about that because Laura posted on there, "Sage your house, bro."
Yeah,
yeah. And then Steven
I've been really debating it.
Yeah, Steven says I can attest to that. He called me during that event.
I did. I called Steven as soon as that goat noise happened. I called Steven. Yeah. Most of the time, if I have something weird, paranormal happen, I call Steven because Steven is the kind of person that'll be like, "Okay, calm down. You know what happened," and he'll try to figure out a way to explain it, or he'll be like, "I don't know." Yeah. And he knows at this point that if I call him, something definitely weird has happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've never thought about cleansing your house? I mean, or seriously thought about it, or?
I've thought about it, but I've never done it.
Okay. I was gonna go back to the dog. Also, what was up with the dog? Is there ever anyone who had a white Pyrenees dog in that house, or?
Not that I know of. I know, like I said, I didn't know what it was until, I went to PetSmart or something and saw one, and I asked my mom what it was, and then she said it was a Great Pyrenees. I was like, oh, okay, now I know what it was, but we've always, up to that point, we've always had schnauzers or like a little poodle kind of thing, We never had a big dog.
Yeah, Steven says, don't call. He says, don't lie. You call my butt daily.
Well, I guess.
So do you still have anything strange going on there currently, or?
It's actually been rather quiet here lately.
Yeah.
At night you will get. So I live in a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house, okay, by myself. So obviously it's creepy off the start. It's a huge house. There's an entire section that was my old room, and it's a bedroom, an add-on room, and a bathroom. I don't go in that area because that's where all the weird stuff happens. You'll walk by there at night, come into my room, and you'll hear stuff in there moving around, or you'll hear footsteps or something in there. Every once in a while, you'll hear knocks, and it's kind of like, I'm just gonna go sleep. But I've been living with it for so long that it's normal to me now. Yeah. So I just kind of accept it for what it is. Now, like I said, I have thought about cleansing the house at one point, and I thought, what if that makes it worse somehow? Because I'm not a professional at doing that, so I might just make it mad, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I've actually heard that even by people who say that they've done it hundreds of times, that they are professionals. I don't know if anyone could be a professional at cleansing a house, but I've actually heard people say that you can actually make it worse sometimes. And I know I lived in a house without paranormal activity, and that was one of the reasons why we never did it, because we were like, you know what, it's scary, and but at the same time, it wasn't scary. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the stuff that was going on, it would kind of freak you out, I guess you could say, but it wasn't like it was anything that we felt was trying to harm us or trying to,
Yeah, it just kind of unsettled me.
Yeah. So I think whatever was there wasn't trying to intentionally scare us or freak us out.
But I've had.
Lupa said there's a freaky dude painting Logan in the background.
Did you just call Bob Ross freaky?
Yeah, Lupa just did.
That's a crime. That's a true crime.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I've had the ghost stuff follow when I lived in Mesquite for a while when I was going to college.
Mhm.
And I think the weird part is I went to college to be a funeral director and an embalmer.
Oh,
And so the funny part is I never had anything happen at a funeral home. I've never had anything happen at the actual school for it, you know.
mhm.
But at my apartment when I lived there, and the weird part is I have a neighbor that it actually correlated with. I was on a college budget, of course. So I had a little Tostino's pizza that I was making, and so I put it on the plate and I put it on the back of a little shelf or a shelf pretty much, just so I could go grab something to drink, come back, grab it, go sit down and eat. When I went to go grab something to drink, that plate flew off and landed on the floor.
Wow. Damn.
And I got mad because I just lost my food. And so I go out later that night, just go sit outside. And my neighbor that's across, like straight across from me, she's sitting outside and she's pretty much crying at this point. I'm like, what happened? Why are you, whatever? And she said she was sitting on her couch and a shadow came across the wall. It went onto the floor and it started going towards her on the couch. She said she jumped over her coffee table and ran outside and called her husband or boyfriend. And that was maybe 30 minutes after the pizza flew across the room. But that was the only thing that ever happened to me in Mesquite was that. But I just find it weird that, that happened to me, and then she's outside saying a shadow was trying to get to her or something, across the room.
Yeah, I think stuff can follow you around.
Oh, yeah.
I think I had it happen when I left here, and I was in San Antonio for a couple of years. I think there was stuff that was going on over there that I think that followed me from over here. And then it was funny. One of the last things that happened over there in San Antonio, a light came on, and you could hear the light switch actually. You know how it sounds when you turn a light switch on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very audible. You heard the light switch came on, the lights came on. Then after a while, when I came back here, when I was back in Houston, and it was maybe just a few days, I was in the kitchen and the light switch came on in the kitchen just the same way, just click. It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
I've never had any light switches come on. I've had doors open. I had a door open and slam on my back once. That's the most physical thing that's ever happened to me. Because when that happened, I went outside and I waited for my mom to show up before I went back in the house. But I mean, I haven't had anything like that happen. I actually have a spot close to my house I call Limpy's. It's I call it like a Bigfoot Highway is what everybody's kind of assumed it is. It's not a place where they stay, but it's like a little interstate for them. There's a green belt that kind of comes down from around Sulphur Springs, and then it'll wind its way and go to the Mineola Nature Preserve, and from there it'll go to Sabine. This is kind of in between the Sulphur Springs and the Sabine, and it's on a power line trail. And everybody says, that charges up all the energy around you and all that stuff. I've seen orbs out there. There's currently 2 people that live out there on the end of the road, and then there's 2 people that live on the corner of it. And they've all seen orbs. They've heard strange how I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 people out there that have sightings. I have one that's had a face-to-face sighting. I mean, like right on she fell asleep in her car.
Oh, wow.
And when she woke up, its face was pressed up against the glass against hers. And when she looked at it, she had a dog in her lap too. And when she woke up, the dog woke up, growled. She looked out the window and scared it. She said it screamed at her and then pushed off the car and took off. And then after that, her and her boyfriend would see it almost every night out there, running around. Yeah. It never came back up that close that they know of, but they would see it out there running. And that's not that long ago that happened. me and Paul went out there and we casted a track. Well, 2 tracks actually. I think you saw them at Southeast. They're the big web-looking ones that look kind of deformed. That's why we call it limpies, because we figured if he's got a foot like that, he's got a limp. So that's the one we were thinking might have done it. I don't know. That's just wishful thinking. But when we casted those tracks, by the time I met her, she said that encounter happened 5 months before we casted those tracks.
Oh, okay.
But I've had a shadow man encounter out there, which once again I called Steven with, and it was probably 30-something minutes long. And I'm just sitting out there on the back. The back of my truck has a cover on it, and I was by myself. So I'm sitting on the back of this truck, and I'm got the full moon to my back, and I'm looking towards the wood line. And it's probably 40 yards to the wood line. And I have this 8-foot tall, it looks like a block, like a Minecraft person.
Okay.
But it's about 8 foot tall, and it steps out, and I'm sitting there watching this thing. And I call Steven. I get him on the phone. When I start talking to him, telling him what's going on, it steps back into the wood line. I told him it's gone and whatever. I kept him on the phone. About 15 minutes after it went back into the wood line, it popped up further down, and it would peak like, your typical Bigfoot peak everybody talks about. Yeah. It would do that out into the road and then go back and then out and then back. It did that for about, I'd say 12 or 15 minutes before it finally stopped.
Okay.
I never got off the back of the truck. I figured, I can't shoot it. It's not physical. Okay. I'm not going to kill it with a beaver hook, so I'm just going to kind of wait it out and see what happens. Eventually it went away, but that was probably the only time that I was legitimately questioning what was going to happen.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. How sure are you that it wasn't a Bigfoot, that it was something?
The reason why I say it's not a Bigfoot is I was 40 yards away and I had full moon to it.
Uh-huh.
And the thing was pitch black. When people say blacker than black, that's legitimately the only time I can say I've seen something that was blacker than black. And to me, I feel like I would have seen some facial features. I would have seen, skin somewhere on it if it had fur. But it was just black. It was solid black.
Okay. Which, yeah, that's a common description of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, cool, man. Cool. Any other paranormal stuff you've had happen out in the woods? Because we been in the Bigfoot field. We hear that all the time, that there's that there's always paranormal stuff that goes on in the woods. Some people say that it's related to Bigfoot. Some say it isn't. Me personally, I don't think it is. I think it's all just coincidental, and I think there's a lot of history in a lot of these places. So that's what I think. What's your opinion on that?
I like to. Okay, so on that last one, if humans, for example, we have spirits, we come back as a ghost, yada yada yada. Why couldn't something like Bigfoot or Sasquatch come back as a spirit? I mean, that would explain a lot of these people that are saying they got something cloaking, or they have something that's just disappearing in the thin air.
Okay.
Because that's a ghost thing, Other than that, you got so much history, especially in Texas and Oklahoma, Indians, stuff like that. Anywhere you go is practically going to be some kind of old Indian settlement or burial ground. Like the Mineola Nature Preserve has supposedly has a burial ground out in it. And I've seen plenty of.
Where's that?
Do what?
Where's that?
Mineola Nature Preserve.
Okay. Where's that exactly? I don't think I've ever heard of it.
It's in between Mineola and Lindell. It's kind of on the side of 69.
Okay.
We go out there a lot. I like to go down. I do get some cool stuff out there. We've got snaps and prints and bins and all kinds of stuff from out there. I like to go kayak. I do a lot of kayaking, so I'm usually going down the Sabine River. Anytime I can get out on a kayak, I'm going to do it. So if this rain would stop, that's where I would be. But every time I see these orbs and stuff, I get curious, and I'll go try to look it up if I can get time or remember it, and go look up what the history of these areas are, you know. And a lot of the times they come back with Indian stuff, and like I had a big group of people out there at one point, and I remember me and Michael Waldy were the last two in the pack, and we were following up behind everybody. And we had just been watching this weird, I think it was like a greenish ghost light kind of going in the woods. And it finally stopped and everybody started going ahead. And when me and Michael finally started going ahead, about, I want to say 6 to 5 foot in front of me, there was a red orb that popped up. It flew about 3 foot and then dropped down to the ground and disappeared. It disappeared before it hit the ground. And I stopped Michael and asked him if he saw it, and he said no. So once again, that's just me, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I saw something, so you can take it or leave it, but.
Yeah. Eliba says, if you touch anything on a burial ground, they will follow you home. And Steven says, yep.
Oh, yep. That don't surprise me.
And do you actually go out researching if someone calls you up or has a place for you to go? I said, would you actually go out researching with someone, paranormal stuff, if somebody called you up or if they had a spot that
for
they wanted
sure,
you to look?
Okay,
sure. Cool.
Oh yeah. That's like, I'm open to going out with everybody. You know, all you gotta do is hit me up. I'd be more than glad if I can fit it in my schedule. I would be more than glad to go. And it's kind of like it'd be a good project too, because you know, with my show, I could make some stuff for it. And currently, right now, the show is mostly Bigfoot stuff. I'm wanting at some point in this year to throw in some paranormal, you know, stuff into it.
Yeah, that's what I want to get involved a little bit more in that too, the paranormal field. That's what I want to do too. So yeah, I'm always open to doing that too, and hopefully I get my buddy Sean. He's got a couple of good spots. You know, are you familiar with Sean Michael?
I know of him. I've never met him.
Yeah. He's I definitely want to get with him, man. To get out some, he knows like an old jail, you know, that he's got some good stuff from. I was asking you that too. Have you ever gotten any EVPs or try to get EVPs in your house or anywhere else for that matter?
I've never tried.
You need to try that.
I really do, but I just have to go out and buy a recorder, buy the bullet, and buy a few.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, you can get it.
My last one, the last recorder I had ended up in a river.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm currently recorderless.
Yeah. I recently bought 2. I would have had 3, but when I traded in my truck, I left it in my truck.
Dang.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, shit, that's pretty cool. You know. Well, you want to add anything else before we go? We've been on 34 minutes already. And like I said, I just wanted to do something real quick. I was kind of bored, and you know, I want to do a little show. But you got anything you want to add? How to contact you? How they can find you? Or YouTube channel?
If anybody wants to get a hold of me, just Logan Craft on Facebook. Send me a message. Send me a friend request. You know. Other than that, check out Cryptid Connection, the fan group on Facebook, the actual website itself. Currently, right now, you can get a free level membership to get in there. If you pay for it, you support the podcast that goes along with it. Obviously, my show is under the Cryptid Connection YouTube channel, Logan versus Everyone. I'm about to have one come out in the next week, so there'll be a new one. Up till now, most of those episodes are about conferences. This will be the first episode that is not a conference. So it's kind of like a little experiment episode of me just throwing in stuff I've done since I think December or New Year's. New Year's Day is when this episode starts. So it's 3 months of stuff jumbled up in one.
Cool. Okay, cool beans, man. Well, all right. If anyone has to or wants to contact me, it's beyond.woodline@gmail.com. You can contact me anything, Bigfoot, paranormal, UFO, anything strange, anything unexplainable, contact me, man. I love to talk to you. Maybe we'll get you on the show. And Lupus says we can find him at McDonald's. So,
Hey.
So yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Logan, hold on real quick. I'll end the broadcast here soon.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, everyone. Good night. And like I said, thanks for tuning in, guys.